Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to my yet another video. In this video, we are going to talk about data engineering pipelines. Okay, how to build a scalable data engineering pipelines using Apache Beam. So I was going through this one of the famous and one of my go-to framework for building the data engineering pipelines in Apache Beam, which runs on the Google Cloud Dataflow, and it turns any of your data engineering Beam pipelines. Beam is meaning by your batch and streaming. Both pipelines can be created using this Apache Beam framework, but Dataflow is the runner, so it will run on the Google Cloud infrastructure. Okay, now the fun part is that this is one kind of a advanced version of MapReduce, and here it is embarrassingly parallel. So any process that can be run in parallel should be running parallel. This is the motto of Apache Beam. Okay, and this is the entire one of the typical pipeline, one of the Hello World pipeline, you can say, or engineering workflow, where you are reading from some data from any of your sources, and all these particular reading transforms are called pcall, which is a p collection, and you do transformation. It is a etl or elt, whatever you are following up. So this pcall collection, when you apply the transformation, it calls the p transform. Okay, and then the p like the transform version is called pcall, and you write to a separate sync database. And whenever you are writing your Apache Beam code, it is a DAG, directed acyclic graph. Okay, so it generates the DAG workflow as a graph execution. So you can clearly see, suppose there are particular pipelines that you have written, and this is the graph you can create, that will be created automatically by the Dataflow service. And this is one kind of the development part of it. You try to create, the developer creates the environment pipelines and all. You write your code, development environment, Google Cloud Storage. Then this is a pretty typical jar development environment, but I would be talking up more on the Python development environment. Okay, now going back to the screen, this is the entire workflow, this is the entire flow. Now without further ado, let's get started. So as you can see, this is one kind of Beam project that I have created here, and this is the readme file. So you can follow up, and when you write your code and run your code, you can execute from here. Now if I go to the typical project structure, this is the typical project structure you have been followed. This is a run.sh. This is for the direct runner. So run your pipeline inside your local environment. How you can run it? Now basically, if I do a ch run into sh, now you can see my Beam pipeline started executing. But this is only for your development purpose. When you are developing to execute, to try out your pipeline is working all well, so you're just going to do a local runner. This is the direct runner. And the easy part in the readme file that I have mentioned, when you are testing a local environment, this is a direct runner. When you are going to deploy your pipeline, just change the runner to Dataflow runner. Now let's go to see the code. Basically this main.py, here the entire logic, the transformations has been written, and time lapse is a Python decorator that I have created just to give you the total elapsed time as per the transformation it required. So almost 8 seconds to do the transformations of reading a file and doing some jobs from the cloud, and it writes out, like it saves or sync out your output result to a separate data base or a flat file system, whatever you like to. So this is the entire DAG right now you are seeing. So this is, I'm just creating or reading out the inputs, doing some transformation. This is the p transform which I was telling you. This is the staging bucket. Now in this particular order I have just hard coded it. Otherwise you can read it from the your pipeline arguments. Okay, now this is the another group by an aggregation transform that I have created. Now the entire core logic, how I am doing, this is not the library imports, this is the custom written, some logics we have written, and after that I'm just writing out the dumping the output into a particular order and all. Okay, into a particular separate data GCS bucket. Okay, now this is the splitting transform that we are performing right way. This is called doFn. Okay, it is applying each and every row on a parallel execution environment, and this is the p transform that we have created. Now in this p transform, you can read them splitting out the tokens and applying some flat map, which is a pure map reduce kind of or a, like very basic flat mapping, just to convert your flatten out the array of array. That's why. And this is the splitting functions that we are applying, and this is the aggregation logic. Very pretty cool. I'm just creating an add pair. I'm doing a group by operation, and I'm just doing the group by count. Okay, that's how it is. And this is the entire map file, and just for the sake of purpose, this is the custom. When I am saying key boss, you can run on a custom data flex template. This is the how you can create. Now in this particular order, there are some custom content, like custom container, meaning your container repository that you have to create on a GCR environment. Basically a GCR or artifact registry. You authenticate first of all. Now you use Cloud Build to build out your flex container image. Okay, now you build out the container which creates the artifacts to run your particular data Beam as a Apache Beam pipeline, and this is the running command. Now this is all you can run on a local environment or a development purpose. Just do a single run, and if you just copy paste all these inputs into your terminal, it will just execute. Okay, but apparently we generally try to follow the continuous deployment approach, right? When you push your code, automatically your pipeline runs and you updates your engineering pipelines, so on and so forth. So for that, this is the typical cloud build, which is a Google Cloud continuous deployment service which I have created, and this is the typical command that you have 5 steps has been defined. So this is the 5 steps. So first is configure the Docker repository. Second step is build the flex container, and third step is basically build the flex template, build metadata template, which is going to be executed on a data flow environment, and at last they run the data flow job. So the typical service account and all, we are using it. Okay, now in this particular script, as you can see, each and everything has been written over here. So whenever I just copy paste this particular command, continuous deployment to cloud build, I just copy paste and it creates a continuous deployments, continuous CI/CD. Not CI is not there because I have not integrated with GitHub. I have not uploaded the project into my GitHub profile, but accordingly the continuous deployment has been set up. Now let's see what is the continuous deployment. As you can see, this particular pipeline just ran a few minutes ago. Apparently it will take 3 or 4 minutes. So let's go inside it. And this is the particular flow has been written, and this is all cloud build command which we have written over there. It just execute and save the particular page. Okay, now when it is done, now as I have already told you, we have created a artifact registry for our application for that. So this is the particular image. Now this image, how we can be sure enough, because if you go inside your cloud build, now this is the image tag name we have given, app image version 1. So this is the app image version 1. It is already created inside it, and almost this is a 1 GB file image. So this is our custom Flex SDK container image, which is going to execute on a Dataflow environment. Now let's see the Dataflow job. Here you can see this particular pipeline has started executing. Okay, this automatically, whenever this particular image has been created, this cloud build will trigger the Dataflow job, and this has been taken 11 minutes, like almost 12 minutes it has taken. Now if I go inside it, this Apache Beam, now entire code base, entire Dataflow jobs and everything which we have written over there, it has executed apparently. Now as you can see, the arguments and all whichever I have just provided, it has run at it has executed basically. Just to be double sure, if you want, this is a tag which has been created. This is the transforms we have created. Now see, this is called a read. I am just first reading out the inputs. Okay, I'm first reading out the inputs. Now I'm splitting out the token. From where it is referring? It is referring from here. See, splitting out the transform. If I go inside it, there are few steps: split token into tokens and flatten. Okay, so similarly, as you can see, I'm splitting into token first, then I'm applying flatten. So flatten is there. Now write into bucket. Now see, right now whenever my this collection is ready, after that I am just writing my output to a separate bucket. So which bucket I have written? Flatten tokens. I will show that to you as well. Now if I go here, if I go inside Dataflow, now after Dataflow there is a staging bucket I most probably am writing to. Now see, this is the flatten tokens. Okay, this is the flatten tokens. Now only one side we are writing. Okay, this is the flatten tokens. Now if I just click here, this is an authenticate. See, this is the particular output we have exported or we have dumped into a GCS bucket. Okay. Now apparently there are another particular tokens output analytics, because if I just go back, see, now here I am writing the analytics JSON. If I click this particular tokens out analytics, now if I click here, so hello is repeated 3 times, morning has been repeated 2 times, good has been repeated 3 times, and day has been repeated 1 time. So accordingly this words has been repeated this many times, and this is your entire Beam workflow. And if you want to see the execution details as per stage workflow, this is how the complex Beam serverless workflow has been ran, and accordingly also everything is good. Now if you want to see the log output, particular this thing, you just go inside it, see the logger output. This is the serverless workflows, the cloud native workflows, or the particular thing has been written over there. Now this is the token output. See, this is the token output which has been written over here, and this is how it is. So that's all from my end. I hope you like this video and you get the idea of a most famous question, how you can execute or build a particular Apache Beam Flex template for your workloads. And this is the typical data engineering pipelines. We can create a very complex pipeline as likewise you can mention, but this is as per your need. I have just given you the overall one heads up so that you can typically understand the workflow and things. So this is how we have also created one of these typical and very complex analytics workload that you can find over the Google Docs as well. So you can learn from it, and thanks for watching this video. Thank you.